Hello, my name is Mayanka. I am accounts and a finance trainer from UPLEX. Today, we will cover the topic of accounting for share capital. This is part 1 of this topic. We will cover the accounting for share capital into 3 parts, part 1, part 2 and part 3. In this topic, we will discuss what is the share capital, type of share capitals, means type of capital, and we will also discuss the accounting in the respect of issuance of shares. This is the part 1 in which we will discuss definitions, means what is share capital, classification of share capitals, and all other relevant and the important points of this concept. Now we will start our video. Accounting for share capital. Share capital of a company. What is the meaning of share capital? A company, being an artificial person, cannot generate its own capital, which has necessarily to be collected from the several persons. The company is an artificial person, but in the case of company, there is the need of the share capital to perform all the financial activities and all the business activities. So, in the case of business or in the case of company, it is very much necessary to collect the amount of share capital from the different person. But the company is a artificial and a judicial person, so it cannot collect the amount of share capital from the different persons. In the case of company, the company issue the share capital. They issue the share to the different person and collect the money from these persons. So these persons are to be known as shareholder. Is that to whom the shares are issued by the organization, and the person who purchase or subscribe these shares are to be known as shareholder. And the company collect the amount of own capital from these persons. So, when the amount which is contributed and the amount which is contributed by them is to be known as share capital. Is that the shares which are issued by the organization to the person who purchase these shares and who subscribe these shares, then these persons are to be known as shareholder, and the amount which is contributed by the shareholder is to be known as share capital. Since the number of the shareholder is very large, a separate share, a separate capital account cannot be opened for each of them. We cannot open the separate capital account for each of the shareholder, because there are many number of shareholders or many number of shares which are issued. So in this case, we cannot create a separate account for the each of the shareholders. Hence, in this case, we create a share capital account in which we enter all the data and all the entries which are related to the all share capital. So, hence, in this case, the share, in this case, enumerable stream of capital contribution merge their identities into a common account, which is called the share capital account. So, in this case, we create a single account, which is to be known as share capital account, in which we pass all the entries which are relating to the share capital. We cannot create different or the separate share capital account for the each of the shareholder. We create a single account and pass all the entries which is relating to the share capital. Such account is to be known as share capital account. So in this slide we have discussed who is the shareholder. the person to whom shares are issued, and the person who subscribes the share. Who subscribes the share, then such person is to be known as shareholder. And the amount which is contributed by the shareholder is to be known as share capital. And the account which is contain all the information, and which is contain the capital contribution, amount of capital contribution, then such account is to be known as share capital account. Now we will discuss the category of share capital. What are the categories? Means what are the types of share capital? Category of the share capital. Just like on the basis of this picture, we can say that there is a number. First is authorized share capital. Number one category is authorized share capital, and such authorized share capital is also divided into two parts. It is divided into two parts: issued capital and the unissued capital. The capital which is issued, then it is to be known as issued capital, and the capital which is not issued till yet, then it is to be known as unissued capital. In the issued capital, there is a subscribed capital which is subscribed by the shareholder. And in the subscribed capital, there is two types: subscribed and fully paid. Means subscribed and the total amount of the share is paid by the shareholder. And the next is subscribed but not fully paid up. Means these shares are subscribed by the shareholder, but there is any amount which is not paid by the shareholder. Just example, the value of the share is 10 rupees, but till date only 8 rupees are paid by the shareholder. So 2 rupees is unpaid. Then it is subscribed but not fully paid. So we will discuss the category of share capital in the detailed form. From accounting point of view, the share capital of the company can be classified as follows. Is that on the basis of accounting, we can classify or we can divide the share capital of the company into these 7 parts. Number one is authorized share capital. Number one is authorized capital. Number two is issued capital. Number two, issued capital. Number three, subscribed capital. Number four, called up capital. Number five, paid up capital. Number six, unpaid capital or uncalled capital. Uncalled capital. Uncalled capital. And the last is reserve capital. Is that there are 7 types of capital: authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, called up capital, paid up capital, uncalled capital, and reserve capital. Now we will discuss all these capital in the detailed form so that you can understand what is the meaning of which capital. Means which type of capital is to be known authorized, is to be known issued. So we will discuss. Number one, authorized capital. What is the meaning of authorized capital? Authorized capital is the amount of share capital which is authorized to issue by its memorandum of association. Is that the authorized capital is a capital which is authorized by the memorandum of association. Is that it is the capital which can be issued by the organization in its lifetime. It is, and such a capital is authorized in its memorandum of association. It is properly mentioned in its memorandum that this is the authorized capital. The company can issue max to max this share capital in its life. The company cannot raise more than the amount as specified in the memorandum of association. If any company want to issue more than the authorized capital, then the company cannot do so, because in the memorandum of association, the capital which is authorized by the capital which is authorized in the memorandum of association, it is the fixed capital. Means it is the authorized. The company cannot issue more than these capital. It is also known as nominal or the registered capital. This capital, authorized capital, is also known as nominal capital, and it is also known as registered capital because it is a registered. Because it is a registered, so it is called registered capital. The authorized capital can be increased and can be decreased as per the procedure which is laid out in the Companies Act. Is that in the case when there is any company want to increase the amount of share capital, want to increase the amount of authorized share capital, then then the company can reduce or can increase the amount of share capital. But there is a procedure which is to be followed by the organization for the increase and decrease in share capital. Is that the company has option. The company has an option to increase and decrease the amount of authorized capital. But there is a procedure. But there is a procedure which is to be followed by the organization, which is required to be followed by the organization as per the Companies Act. It should be noted that the company need not issue the entire authorized capital for the public issue at a time. The company cannot issue total amount, means fully authorized capital at a time. Is that it will not issue all the authorized share at a single time. The company will not, and the company cannot issue all the shares, all the authorized share in a single time. Depending upon its requirement, it may issue share capital, but in any case, it should not be more than the amount of authorized capital. Is that the company cannot issue the share capital more than authorized capital. The authorized capital is the capital which is authorized by the memorandum of association. This is also known as nominal capital and the registered capital. It can be increased and it can be decreased only by the procedure which is laid down in the Companies Act. And the company cannot issue the capital more than the authorized capital. So this is the authorized capital. What is the meaning of issued capital? First, we have discussed authorized capital. Now we will discuss issued capital. The issued capital is the part of authorized capital which is actually issued, to the public for the subscription, including the shares which is allotted to the vendor and the signatories to the capital's memorandum, to the company's memorandum. Is that the issued capital is a part of authorized capital, and the issued capital are those capital which are actually issued by the company to the public. It is the amount of capital, or it is a part of the authorized capital which is issued by the company to the public for the subscription. Is that for collection, the amount of share capital, the capital which is issued by the company is to be known as issued capital. This is also include the issued capital is also include the share which is allotted. It is also include the shares which are allotted to the vendors and the signatories of the company's memorandum. Is that the number of shares which are issued to the allottee, which are issued or which are allowed to the vendor and the signatory of the company will also be considered in the issued capital. The authorized capital which is not offered for the public, where the part of the authorized capital which is issued for the public is to be known as issued capital, and the part which is not issued for the public subscription, then it is to be known as unissued capital. Unissued capital may be offered for the public subscription at a later date. We can, or the company can, if it want, then the company can issue the unissued share capital after the certain time period. For the example, there is an organization which have the total amount of authorized capital is 10 lakh rupees. Means 1 lakh shares at rupees 10 each. So this is the authorized share capital of the organization. Such 10 lakh rupees share capital is authorized by the memorandum. In this case, the company issued only 8 lakh shares. 8 lakh share capital means 80,000 shares at rupees 10 each issued. So 80,000 shares or 8 lakh share capital is to be known as issued capital. 8 lakh share capital is to be known as issued capital, and the balance 2 lakh and the balance 2 lakh capital is to be known as unissued. It may be or it can be issued by the company at any other date or any other later date. So this is the meaning of issued capital and the unissued capital. Now we will discuss subscribed capital. What is the meaning of subscribed capital? Subscribed capital is the part of issued capital which has been actually subscribed by the public. The subscribed capital is the part of issued capital which is actually subscribed or which is actually purchased by the shareholder or by the public. For the example, the company issued 80,000 shares, and in this 80,000, the 75,000 shares are subscribed by the public. So these 70,000 shares or 7,50,000, these 7,50,000 share capital is to be known as subscribed capital. 7,50,000, it means 75,000 shares at rupees 10 each will be considered as subscribed capital. When the shares offered for the public subscription are subscribed fully by the public, then the issued and the subscribed capital would be same. Is that if the issued capital is, as per the example, the amount of issued capital is 8 lakh. If these total 80,000 shares are subscribed by the public, then the amount of the issued capital will also, the amount of the subscribed capital will also be 8 lakh. So if all the shares are subscribed by the public, then the issued capital and the subscribed capital will be same. It may be noted that ultimately the subscribed capital may be equal to or less than issued capital. The subscribed capital may be equal or it may be less than the issued capital. But in any case, it cannot be more than the subscribed capital. In case the number of shares subscribed is less than what is offered, then the company allot only the shares for which a subscription has been received. In the case when the number of subscription is less than the issued capital, means the subscribed number of shares is less than the issued number of shares. In this case, the company allot the share to the those person for which a subscription has been received. In case it is higher than what is offered, in case subscribed when the subscribed demand is higher but the company has less issued capital, then in this case the company will be equal to the offer. Then in this case the allotment will be equal to the issued capital. It should not be more than the issued capital. In other words, the fact of oversubscription is not reflect in the book. There may be oversubscription, but it should not be indicate in the books of account. Is that in the books, if in the case of company, if there is the oversubscription, then it will be adjusted. It will be adjusted, but it should not be explained in the books. Is that the issued capital and subscribed capital will be same if there is the oversubscription. In the case of undersubscription, the company will allot only those shares in the respect of which subscription is received. But in the case of oversubscription, then the issued capital and the paid up share capital, the issued capital and the subscribed capital shall not be, well, it will be equal. Is that they will arrange it in such a manner so that they can offer or they can provide or they can allot only those shares which are issued by them or issued by the organization. So this is the meaning of subscribed capital. The next is called up capital. What is the meaning of called up capital? In the previous slides, we have discussed authorized share capital, issued share capital, unissued share capital, subscribed capital. Now we will discuss called up share capital. What is the called up capital? Called up capital is a part of subscribed capital. The called up capital is the part of subscribed capital which has been called up on the share. Is that what the company has asked the shareholder to pay when the capital is subscribed by the shareholder? Then the shareholder are liable to pay the amount of capital to the company, or the company will call the amount of capital from the shareholder. Then the amount which is called by the company is to be known as called up capital. As per the example, 80,000 shares are issued by the company. Now the company call the amount of capital, means it called 5 rupees per share. Then such 5 rupees is to be known as called up per share, means 5 lakh in sorry 5 rupees into 80,000 shares means 4 lakh is to be considered as called up capital. This is to be known as called up capital. The company may decide to call the entire amount or the part amount of the face value of the share. Is that in this case the company has the right that it may call total amount, means call total 10 rupees, or it may call 5 rupees, 2 rupees according to the requirement, or it may call the amount in parts. For the example, if the face value of the share which is allotted is 10 rupees and the company has called only 7 rupees per share, then in this case the 7 rupees is to be considered as called up capital. In this case, the called up capital is to be known as 7 rupees, and the remaining 3 rupees it may be collected from the shareholder when there is a requirement. Then it is to be known as uncalled capital. Such uncalled capital can be called by the organization after the certain time period or as per the requirement. So this is the definition or this is the meaning of called up capital. The capital which is called by the company is to be known as called up capital. Now we will discuss what is the paid up capital. What is the meaning of paid up capital? The paid up capital is the portion of called up capital. The paid up capital is the portion, it is a part of paid up capital. It is the part of, it is the portion of called up capital which has been actually received from the shareholder. Is that when the company call amount, as per the example, the company called 5 rupees per share, 5 into 80,000 means 4 lakh rupees is the called up capital. But the company received only 3 lakh 80,000. The company received from the shareholder only 3 lakh 80,000 rupees. Then this is the amount of paid up share capital. This is the amount of paid up share capital. The amount which is actually received from the shareholder is to be known as paid up capital. When the shareholders have paid all the call up, then the called up share capital is equal to the paid up share capital. Is that when the total amount of the call is paid by the shareholder, then the paid up share capital will be equal to the called up share capital. Is that if as per the example, total 4 lakh amount of called up share capital is paid by the shareholder, then in this case the paid up share capital will also be 4 lakh. In this case, the called up share capital and the paid up share capital will be equal. If any of the shareholder has not paid amount on call, then such an amount may be called as calls in arrears. Therefore, paid up share capital equal to the called up capital minus calls in arrears. In the case when there is any of amount of share capital which is called by the shareholder and such amount is not paid by the shareholder, that it is to be known as calls in arrears. Means we have received 3 lakh 80,000, then 20,000 rupees is to be considered as called in arrears. So in this case, when there is a calls in arrears, then the paid up share capital and plus the amount of calls in arrears is equal to called up capital. Means paid up capital is equal to called up capital minus calls in arrears. So this is the paid up capital, the capital which is paid by the shareholder. then it is to be known as paid up capital. The next is uncalled capital. What is the meaning of uncalled capital? The uncalled capital is the portion of subscribed capital. The uncalled capital is the part of subscribed capital which have not yet called up. Means we have called only 5 rupees. So the least 5 rupees is to be considered as uncalled. As stated earlier, the company may collect this amount at any time when it needs further funds. Is that the company may collect or the company may call these 5 rupees at any time as per the requirement. So it is to be known as uncalled capital. What is the meaning of reserve capital? What is the meaning of reserve capital? A company may reserve a portion of uncalled capital, which is to be called only in the event of winding up of company. Is that in the case of is that in case or the company will create a reserve and company will create a reserve portion, and such reserve portion is to be created from its uncalled capital, from the uncalled capital, and such reserve is to be known as capital reserve. In this case, the company will create such reserve out of uncalled capital, and such amount of capital is called only at the time of binding up of the company. Such call or such share capital is called by the organization only at the case of binding up of the company. Such uncalled capital is to be known as capital reserve of the company. It is available only for the creditors on the binding up of the company. For the example, as per the example, the company called only 5 rupees till yet. Now the company again called 3 rupees. Now the total called up capital is 8 rupees. The 2 rupees, in the respect of these 2 rupees, the company will create a reserve. Means the number of shares are 1 lakh into 2. 2 lakh rupees are the 2 lakh rupees is the amount of share capital which will be called by the organization at the time of binding up for the payment of creditors. So for the purpose of this, the company will create a reserve. It is to be known as capital reserve. So this is the meaning of capital reserve. The capital, the part of uncalled capital, which is called by the organization at the time of binding up, then such capital is to be known as reserve capital, and such capital is used by the organization for the purpose of payment for the creditor at the time of binding. So this is the meaning of reserve capital. So on the basis of this, we have discussed authorized capital, issued capital, subscribed capital, paid up capital, called up capital, uncalled capital, reserve capital. So we have discussed total type of capital. Authorized capital is divided into 2 parts, issued capital and the unissued capital. Issued capital, which is issued by the company to the public subscription. For the public subscription, the capital is issued by the company is to be known as authorized capital. For the example, it is 80,000 shares of rupees 10, which means 8 lakh is the amount of issued capital, and the 2 lakh rupees is the amount of unissued capital, the capital which is not issued by the company. This is the part of authorized capital. Then issued capital, subscribed capital. Issued capital are further divided as a subscribed capital, means the capital which is subscribed from the issued capital. And in the subscribed capital, there is also a 2 part, subscribed and fully paid up. Subscribed capital and fully paid up means 10 lakh is the subscribed capital and it is totally paid off. Then 10 lakh is the paid up capital. Subscribed but not fully paid up means the total subscribed capital is 10 lakh and the only paid 8 lakh rupees. Then it is subscribed but not fully paid. So this is the types of all these type of share capital. We have discussed all the type of share capital. Now we will discuss an example so that we can understand how to explain these capital and how to put all these capital in our financial statement. Example and show how the share capital will be shown in the balance sheet. Sunrise Limited, Delhi has registered its capital as 40 lakh rupees, which is divided into 4 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. Means it is the authorized capital and registered capital. 40 lakh, 4 lakh share of rupees 10 each. The company offered to the public for the subscription of 2 lakh shares at rupees 10 each. This is the issued capital. 2 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. And to be received as 2 rupees on the application, 3 rupees on the allotment, 3 rupees on the first call, and balance on the final. These are the bifurcations of call. Means how the company will call the amount of capital from the shareholder. The company finalized the allotment of the 2 lakh shares and reject application for 50,000. Means it has received the application for the subscription of 2,50,000. The company received the application for 2,50,000. Company finalized 2,50,000 shares application are rejected. The company did not make the final. The company received all the call except 2,000. It will receive all the calls except 2,000 shares, which where call money has not been received. Then it will be transferred to call scenarios. The above amount will be shown in the notes of account of the balance sheet of the Sunrise Limited as follow. Number 1, we will discuss notes to account. In the first point is share capital. In this first point, so first is authorized capital, registered capital, or the nominal capital. Then, as per the question, or as per the example, it is 4 lakh share at rupees 10 each. Means 40 lakh rupees is the amount of authorized capital, or the nominal capital, or the registered capital. 40 lakh rupees is the amount of authorized capital. Issued capital. Issued capital. The company issued 2 lakh shares, which is the 10 rupees per share. Then it is 2 lakh rupees, sorry, 20 lakh rupees is the amount of issued capital. 20 lakh is the amount of issued capital. Subscribed capital. Subscribed capital, but not fully paid. 2 lakh shares of rupees 10 each. And 8 rupees called up. 80 rupees is totally called up. Means final call is not called till yet. So 16 lakh rupees is the amount of subscribed capital. Last, we will deduct the amount of calls and arrears. Means 2,000 share. We have not received the amount of 2,000 shares. 2,000 into 3 rupees per share. Then 6,000 rupees is not received by the company. Then the subscribed capital is 16 lakh minus 6,000 rupees. Means 15 lakh 94,000 is the amount of subscribed capital. So 15 lakh 94,000 rupees is the amount of capital, subscribed capital. So on the basis of such example, we have discussed how to show the amount of capital in our notes to accounts. So on the basis of previous slides, we have discussed what is the share capital, who are the shareholders, and type of share capital. Now we will discuss nature and the class of shares. Now we will discuss nature and the type of shares. First we have discussed type of share capital. Now we will discuss type of share and nature of share. Shares refer to the unit into which the total share capital of the company is divided. Is that the shares are to be considered as the unit in which the share capital of the organization is divided. For the example, there is the authorized share capital of the organization is 10, which is divided into 1 lakh shares of rupees 10. Then such 1 lakh is to be known, such 1 lakh unit is to be known as share. Thus, a share is the fractional part of the share capital and forms the basis of ownership interest in the company. This is the fractional part of the share capital, means this is the small part. These are the small part of the organization which is create the right and the ownership in the company. The person who contribute money through the share are called shareholder. The person who subscribe these shares and contribute the amount, then such person is to be known as shareholder. The amount of authorized capital together with the number of shares in which it is divided is stated in the memorandum of association. But the class of share in which share capital is to be divided along with their respective right and obligation are prescribed by the article of association of the company. Is that the memorandum of the association contain the amount of authorized capital, total amount of authorized capital with the number of shares in which it is divided. It does not contain the nature of shares. It does not contain the class of share in which the company divided these shares. But the article of association of the company contain class of share, the class of share along with their respective rights and along with the respective obligation. The memorandum of association is contain authorized capital along with the number of shares in which it is divided. But the class of shares in which the company's capital is to be divided means the nature of the shares in which it is divided along with its rights and their obligation is mentioned or it is described in the article of association of the company. As per the Companies Act, a company can issue two types of shares. As per the Companies Act 2013, there are two types of shares, or the company can issue two types of shares. Number one is preference share and number two is equity share. Number one is preference share and the number two is equity share. Equity share is also known as ordinary share. Equity share is also known as ordinary share. So there are the two types of share, equity share and the preference share. Preference share. What is the meaning of preference share? According to the section 43 of the Companies Act 2013, a preference share is one which fulfill the following condition. Section 43 of the Companies Act 2013 contain the definition or contain the explanation in the respect of preference share. The preference share is a share which is fulfill the following conditions. Number one, that it carries a preferential right to dividend, which is to be paid either as a fixed amount, which is payable to preferential holder, or an amount which is calculated by a fixed rate of nominal value of each share before any dividend is paid to equity shareholder. Is that the preference share is the those shares which have the preferential right, or which have the first right to receive the amount of dividend, and such amount of dividend is paid by the company at a fixed rate. It is payable by the organization at the fixed rate to the preferential holder, or the amount of the dividend is calculated by the company by a fixed rate of nominal value of each share. And the in the case of preference share, the preferential holder has the preferential right to receive the amount of dividend before the equity share. For the example, there is a 5% preferential holder. In this case, the company will pay the amount of dividend at the rate 5%. This is the fixed. There is the fixed rate of amount of dividend. So it is to be known as fixed rate of dividend. So in this case, the preference shareholder has the preferential right and they have the first right to receive the amount of dividend at the fixed rate before the equity shareholder. Number second condition is that with respect to the capital, it carries or will carry on the winding up of the company the preferential rights to repayment of capital before anything to be paid to the equity shareholder. And in the case of binding up, the preferential holders had the preferential right or the first right to repay the amount of capital before the equity shareholder. Is that at the time of binding up, the preferential holder has the right to receive the repayment of capital before the any payment to the equity shareholder. So when they have the preferential right to receive the amount of dividend before the equity shareholder, and they have the preferential right to receive, they have the preferential right to repayment of capital at a time of binding up, then it is to be known as preference share. When the share has the when the share which has the preferential right of dividend and preferential right of repayment, then these shares are to be known as preferential. It is to be explained by section 43 of the Companies Act 2013. So this is the preferential, which is fulfill these conditions. However, notwithstanding the above two conditions, a holder of a preference share may have a right to participate fully or to the limited extent in the surplus of company as specified in the memorandum or the article of the association. It said the preference shareholder has these following rights or fulfill these conditions. And the preference shareholder, the preference shareholder may have also the right to participate in the fully or in the limited extent in the surplus of the company. Is that the preference shareholder is also, or the preference shareholder have a right, it may have a right to participate in the surplus of the company, which is mentioned in the memorandum of association or in the article of association. Thus, the preference share can be participate and can be non-participating. The preferential holder can be participating or it may be non-participating. If it is explained by the memorandum or article of association, then these shares are participating. Then it will be participating. Otherwise, these preferential will be considered as non-participating. Similarly, these shares can be cumulative or non-cumulative, redeemable or non-redeemable. It is depend upon the nature of the preferential. Preference share may be cumulative, non-cumulative, participating, non-participating, redeemable or irredeemable. It is depend upon the nature and the conditions of the share. So this is the definition of preference share. This is the definition of preference share. What is the meaning of equity share? What is the meaning of equity share? According to the section 43 of the Companies Act 2013, an equity share is the share which is not the preference share. The share which is not the preference share, which does not fulfill the conditions of the preference share, then such share is to be known as equity share. In other words, share which do not enjoy any potential right in the repayment of the capital or payment of dividend are termed as equity share or ordinary share. Is that the share which does not have the potential right of payment of dividend and repayment of capital, then such share is to be known as equity share or ordinary share. The equity shareholders are entitled to share the distributable profit of the company after satisfying the dividend paid to the preference shareholder. Is that the equity shareholder will be receive the amount of dividend after the payment of dividend to equity to preference shareholder. Is that they will receive the amount of the profit after the payment of preference shareholder. The dividend on the equity shareholder is not fixed. The amount of dividend is not fixed. It will be vary. It will be vary year to year basis, and it is depend upon the amount of profit which is available. the amount of profit which is available for the distribution. The equity share capital may be with the voting right, with a differential right as the voting. It may be with the voting right or with differential rights as to voting, dividend, or otherwise in the accordance with such rule and subject to such condition as may be prescribed in the article of association of the company. So the shares which is not the preferential and which does not have preferential right to receive the dividend or repayment of capital, then such a share is to be known as equity share or a ordinary share. In the case of equity share, the equity shareholder receive the amount of dividend after the payment of a dividend to preference shareholder. The amount of dividend in the case of equity share vary year to year basis, and it is totally depend upon the amount of profit. It is totally depend upon the amount of profit which is available for the distribution after the payment of dividend to the preference shareholder. The preference share capital may be with voting right or with the differential right of voting, dividend, and otherwise. It will be on the basis of rules and regulations which are mentioned or the condition which are mentioned in the article of association of the company. Now we will discuss the issue of shares. How the company will issue the shares. In the previous slides, we have discussed types of shares, preference share and the equity share. Now we will discuss the issue of share. How issue the shares. A salient characteristics of the capital of the company is that the amount of its share can be gradually collected in easy installment spread over the period of time depending upon its growing financial requirement. Is that in the case of company, as per the requirement, the company will call the amount of capital in the respect of shares which are issued by the company in the public. Is that they will call the amount as per the financial requirement. The first installment is collected along with the application and it is to be known as application money. The first amount of installment is collected by the company from the shareholder at the time of application. Then such amount is to be known as application money. And the second on the allotment. The second call is made by the organization at the time of allotment of shares. So it is to be known as allotment money. And the remaining installment are treated as first call, second call, and so on. So the money which is called at the time of application is to be known as application money, and the money which is called at the time of allotment is to be known as allotment money. And the least amount is called by the organization as first call, second call, final call, etc. It is depend upon the number of calls or it is depend upon the terms. The important step in the procedure of share issued are. Now we will discuss the steps which are required to be made or which are followed by the organization for the purpose of issuance of share. Means the organization want to issue the share, then there are the following steps which are required to be followed by the organization for the issuance of share. Number one, first the organization will issue the prospectus. Number one, the organization will issue the prospectus. Number two, receipt of application. After the issuance of prospectus, the company will receive the application. And then after the receipt of application, it will allot the share. Number one, issuance of prospectus. First, it will issue the prospectus. Then after, it will receive the application. And then it is allot the share. Then it will allot the share. Number one is issue a prospectus. First, the entity will issue the prospectus. The company first issue the prospectus to the public. For the issuance of the share, first the company will issue the prospectus to the public. Prospectus is an invitation to the public that a new company has come into existence and it needs funds for doing the business. The prospectus is a document which is issued by the company, which is issued by the new company for the collection of funds. When it is need of the fund for performing the business activity, then the company will issue the share. And for the issuance of the share, first the company will issue the prospectus. These prospectus contain the complete detail about the company. Such prospectus contain the complete detail about the company and the manner in which the money is to be collected from the prospective investor. Is that the prospectus is a document which is contain the all the information about the organization, and it is also contain the manner in which the money is collected from the investor or from the shareholder. Such prospectus are issued by the organization for the issuance of shares. First, the company will, such a new company will issue the prospectus, then after would issue the prospectus for the issuance of shares. So it is the invitation. It is only a invitation which is given by the new company, which is given by the new company to the shareholder to collect the money for the business activity or for doing the business activity. So the first step is issue of prospectus. The next is receipt of application. Receipt of application. When prospectus is issued to the public, when the prospectus is issued by the company in the public, then the prospective investor intending to subscribe the share of the company would make an application along with the application money and deposit the same with the schedule bank as specified in the prospectus. Is that when the prospectus are issued by the organization, then the persons who are the interested in the organization and who want to subscribe the share capital of the company, then they will they will make an application along with the application money, and they will deposit such application money into the schedule bank as specified in the prospectus. The company has to get minimum subscription within the period of 120 days from the date of issue of prospectus. Is that the company has to get, it will receive the minimum subscription within the 120 days from the date of issue of prospectus. If the company fail to receive the amount, if the company fail to receive the application within the 120 days, then the company cannot proceed the allotment of share, and application money should be returned by the organization within the 130 days from the date of issuance of prospectus. Is that when the person who are interested to subscribe the share of this company, then such shareholder or then such person will make an application to the company to subscribe the share along with the share capital, and such amount of share capital will be deposited by this person in the schedule bank as which is specified in prospectus. And as per the Companies Act, the company will get minimum subscription within the period of 120 days from the date of issuance of prospect. If the company fails to get the application, fails to get the minimum subscription or the application within the period of 120 days, then the company cannot proceed or cannot issue the shares or cannot allot the shares, and the company will be liable to return the money, within the 130 days from the date of issuance of prospectus. the company will return the amount to the person within the 130 days from the date of issue of prospectus. So this is the receipt of application. The next is allotment of share. Allotment of share. If the minimum subscription has been received, if the minimum subscription is received by the organization within the 120 days from the date of issuance of prospectus, then the company may proceed for the allotment of the share after fulfilling certain legal formalities. Is that when the minimum number of subscription has been received by the company, then the company may allot the shares, or it may start the procedure of allotment of shares after fulfilling certain legal formalities. The letter of allotment are sent to those whom the share has been allotted. The letters of the allotment are sent by the organization to those persons who the share have been allotted. The letter of regard to those to whom no allotment of the share are made. When allotment is made, it results in the valid contract. When there is the allotment of the share, that it is result a valid contract between the company and between the applicant, who now become the shareholder of the company. Is that in the case of allotment, there will be a valid agreement, and such agreement will be made between the organization and between the person who become the owner, who become the shareholder of the company. So this is the process of allotment of share. First, issuance of prospectus. Number two, recipient or receive the application, and the third, the last is allotment of share. So this is the procedure of issue of share. On the basis of this, we have complete is first part. There are two another part. In this part, we have discussed share capital, types of share capital, different type of share capital, and type of shares, preference share and equity share. And we have also discussed issue of share capital. How we will issue the share capital, means what is the procedure of issuance of share capital. So this is part 1. Kindly consider part 2 and part 3, which will be discussed by us in the next videos. Kindly consider it also, so that you can understand this concept properly and in detailed form. Thank you so much for watching this video. Okay, bye bye and have a nice day.